Hey everybody, Joel Pal Brian Hunt. Welcome to another episode of 60 Seconds of Risk. Today I've got another book review for you. I just recently completed Turf Wars by Mr. DeMaurice Smith. If that name sounds familiar, and if you're a football fan, maybe that's why. He was the former executive director of the NFL Player Association. I learned about this book because I listened to a recent podcast from Chuck Todd, and specifically this book, which covers football, but it's not necessarily the games or the plays, but really the business side, the behind the scenes sort of operations of not only the NFL, but the Player Association and the push-pull between owners and players. And let's be honest, NFL is a business, and it's a multi-billion-dollar business that has international expansion in scope. And as a result, it's owners want to make money, players want to get paid more, and there's that push-pull. This is a really fascinating book, especially if you're a football fan like me. Many of you are. I think you're going to really enjoy this book. But I really liked about this book a lot was when I was listening to the podcast with Mr. Chuck Todd, how Mr. Smith, who's a background as a corporate M&A attorney working in Washington, one of the prestigious firms, had experience working with large corporations like Ford, and how insurance can come into play in business transactions or negotiations. Well, the players, if you remember, about 15 years ago, were looking at a lockout, and the owners were stockpiling money, and they even actually negotiated contracts with the networks that even if a lockout occurred, the owners were still going to get paid, which means they would get money and be able to choke off. Even they would be able to cover their operations. The players would not be paid. So Mr. Smith, having a background in insurance, went to the markets, working with carriers to try to find a solution, and they found one. Very ingenious, where they actually paid like $40 million premium to come up with a lockout insurance, which basically meant if they were locked out by the owners, all the players would receive an X amount per game. They were locked out. And as a result, as you guys know, players kind of unfortunately live paycheck to paycheck and not exactly great savers or live within their means. This would have, if they had not had this insurance, then after a couple of weeks, you could have seen the collapse of the union and players crossing lines because they had to get paid to pay bills, take care of their family, cover their expenses and their debts, and that would have wiped out the entire cohesion of the Player Association. So Mr. Smith thought about it, assessed the risk, came up with a solution, and transferred that risk to insurance, which as a result totally undermined the entire owner's position negotiation. As a result, the Player Association had a better negotiating position. They were able to get better results on the collective bargaining agreement versus that they had been broken by the owner. So a fascinating book. So it covers football, it covers business, it covers Game of Thrones sort of intrigue between not only the Player Association, but also the owners. Find out how true the animosity is between Robert Kraft and Jerry Jones. Well, maybe Mr. Jones should probably win a Super Bowl. But also, I think it's just a fascinating way to how insurance can be used as a tactical negotiating asset on your behalf. So highly recommend this book. I can't say enough about it. And it's easy to read, too. You can go through it pretty quickly. It's fun. You enjoy, probably learn something out of it as well. So, like all things, guys, hope you found this beneficial. If there's a certain topic or individual you want to see on the show, please post a note on LinkedIn. You can also find this video and all my other videos on my YouTube channel, so please subscribe. You can also find the links to these videos on the website formerly known as Twitter, Facebook, Substack, and Blue Sky. Until next time, guys.